Hello, everyone out there in YouTube land. It's me, Hanshi Ken Herforth, and I'm here again with our favorite Soki Bobby Briggs. Hello,
Hey
Soki.
everybody,
Hey,
how
how
you
you
doing
doing?
today, brother?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, brother?
Doing good, doing good.
Good, good. Did you have a good Easter?
Yeah, yeah, not bad. How about you?
Yeah, it was terrific. I'm tired from it, and
Yeah.
and the Orthodox Christian world, we do a lot of services.
Oh,
So
all right. Oh, yeah.
yeah, a
Amen.
lot of services.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Baptists, we usually do one. Well, actually two, I guess. Sunrise service and then the main service.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah. We have one every
maybe
night.
sometimes a Good Friday service. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Good Friday. Yeah, we have one every night in the we call it Pascha because that's the ancient Greek word and Hebrew word for Easter
Yeah.
for us. And but it was 5 hours. Our service is long. Yeah,
Good
so,
Lord,
yeah.
that's like a Pentecostal service.
Yeah, we were done at 1:30 in the morning. We always do it.
Wow.
And it goes back to the first century, but we do it at night. So we
Yeah.
start at in the evening and it goes into the morning. We were done by 1:22 in the mornings when I looked at my phone. So probably 1:10 by the time I actually, got out and looked at the phone. Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah, it was long, but it was great. The whole week was great, but I'm still kind
Yeah.
of recovering from it because I'm an old man.
Yeah. Hey, I hear you, brother. I
Yeah.
hear you.
Yeah. So I thought maybe just for this episode we got something coming up,
Hmm.
and of course that's with Tom and Augustine. I'll give their last names when we do our full interview. I'll let them give it, I guess.
Yeah.
But we have I thought we'd talk about what we're doing and some of our plans. And the first week, Tom, for the world to know, you'll get to meet him. He's already agreed to do an episode with us once he's here.
Good. Good.
And so he's coming up to try for two black belts. Tom is one
Hmm.
of my Goju students, and he's also going to go for his Keto Kimeru black belt under
Hmm.
under us. So he's got a lot on his plate. And
He's
Tom,
coming from Georgia, right?
he's coming from Georgia. Yeah, he lives near Moody Air Force Base. I always forget the town.
Really? I
Yes.
thought it was Robbins.
No, you're right. It's Robbins.
Yeah,
You're right. It's
because
Robbins.
that's where he was. Yeah, it's Warner Robins Air
Yeah,
Force Base.
Warner Robbins. You're right. Yeah, Warner Robbins. I don't know why I thought Moody. Warner Robbins.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. And so he's coming from that area and coming
Mhm.
up here. And just for the martial art world to know, Tom has been taking Goju from me for since 1995. So
Wow,
31
that
years.
long?
That long. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
On
And
and off.
on and off. Right. Yes. On and
Right.
off. Exactly. Yeah.
He's
I'm
just
not that
followed
hard.
you. He's just he's just followed you around training.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad you said it that way. People think, what, 31 years to get his black
Yeah.
belt? Yeah. No, no, this is
I
not
don't
some,
think I'll try this style.
no, yeah. Yeah. No, yeah. He studied with me for about 10 months initially in 95, 96. And then we were fortunate. We didn't get stationed at the same base, but we both got stationed in Hawaii. And when I got there, I think maybe 3 months after he did,
Hmm.
and it took me about a couple months to get things going to set up teaching there, maybe
Hmm.
2 or 3 months. But he started training under me again. He was at Hickam. And if anybody's ever been to Oahu, the traffic's horrible. Even in
Oh
the
yeah.
mid 90s, I imagine now it's even crazier.
Yeah.
And he would travel from Hickam Air Force Base. Mondays and Wednesdays is when we had class, if I remember correctly. And we started at 6, and he would travel all the way to Bellows to
Really?
train, and then he would travel back. He lived in the dorms at Hickam.
Oh.
I lived off base in Kaneohe, is where I lived, but he would travel all the way there, train, and then travel all the way back 2 nights a week. And
I
then when
was
he was
thinking that he was at Bellows with you.
no, he was at Hickam, yeah,
Yeah, that is a
and
little bit of a hike from Hickam to Bellows,
it
especially
is.
when the traffic's thick.
Yeah, and the traffic. He always. I think he reminded me that going home wasn't that bad. It was maybe an hour, going
Yeah,
home. But getting there was longer because of the traffic was so
yeah.
bad. But he never, Tom doesn't complain about those things,
Hmm.
So he would come in and then he was single, so he only did I think 2 years, and then he got orders and went to Greece.
Hmm.
And over the years, he would try other people, but I think there's another guy, Battle, a Taekwondo guy. He trained with him for a while, but even when he was training with him, he'd still come up and visit me and train.
Yeah.
And then he trained when he went to North Carolina. And
Yeah.
now he's a civilian now at
Right.
Fayetteville.
Down in
Working,
Fort Bragg.
he's at Fort Bragg working as a
And
civilian.
that's and I was already retired from the military and working in Charlotte as a police officer, and he would come up and train with me.
That's right. And he come up and train with you. Yeah. Yeah. So, Tom is one of those nice guys.
Very
And of course,
loyal.
very loyal, very loyal. And I've always told him, you need to be in the saddle with somebody. It didn't have to
Yeah.
be, but he would go and train with other people and says, no, it's not quite the same.
Mhm.
And I used to tease him, you're just a glutton for punishment because,
Yeah.
but then again, I can't blame him. I'm kind of crazy. I trained, under you. I trained under you
Mhm.
still, and then I trained under Dan Heck for Goju, and
Yeah.
I'm a glutton for punishment. You both aren't easy,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's not an easy,
Yeah. Well, when
you
you
know.
find something you like that's that kind of fits your personality, or the instructor fits your personality, or both the style and the instructor, or something that you really click well with, it's hard to separate from that, because I totally understand it.
And so I'm really appreciative, but there's very few who become your
Yeah.
brother. And I think that's
Who
just
was
being honest. You always
Oh,
have,
yeah.
it's like you told me once, when you have motorcycles, because we both have only one, but we both had multiple motorcycles.
Right.
You always have your favorites. And then
Right.
afterwards, the other ones that you ride a little bit, but okay,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's the same. You always
Exactly.
have your favorites.
Yeah.
And
Hey, who was it? Were you living in Abilene? I'm pretty sure you were in Abilene and not Missouri when I come up and visited you that one time, or I come to visit you that one time, and we went to some guy. He was in like a campground. He had his fifth wheel, I think, at a campground, and you said there was some kind of link between you and him in martial arts. Who was that?
oh, yeah, that was in Missouri. Charles Duriel.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
We rode
Charles.
motorcycles out there that night,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's Charles is what got me started in the martial arts. So how that began, it's I owe him a great debt for my whole life.
yeah.
And my mom and dad were divorced, and so most of my time was spent up in Spokane. Actually, at this time, all my time was spent in Spokane. I hadn't seen my dad since I was 4.5, and I'm
Hmm.
9 years old now at this time. And so my mom went out and got a Big Brothers of America, that
Yeah.
program. And she got one, which was, I think, genius on her part, actually, for my brother and I both to have one big brother.
Hmm.
That way I wasn't going over here and he wasn't going there. We had the same guy.
And
And
that was this guy?
that was this guy, Charles Duriel. And what he did, he was really smart. So he learned us. We had him for 2 years there. Now, Charles has always stayed in my life the whole time by phone calls or
Mhm.
letters or whatever. So it's not like he left, but he was stationed at Fairchild Air Force Base. He was what he used to call back then a BB stacker. Basically, he loaded armaments on the B-52s.
Oh, okay.
And he rode motorcycles. So he was the first one to teach me. He had a Honda 175. And he didn't do martial arts, but as he told me, he tried to learn. He told me later, he tried to kind of figure us out, Jim and I, like what's really going to be good for these kids, because he knew he wouldn't be there forever, right?
Right.
And for me, he said, okay, I was real skinny as a kid, and he thought, okay, skinny, needs some confidence. Uh, so he thought martial arts would be for me. So he took me to see Bruce Lee at the time it's called Return of the Dragon, but it's called
Mhm.
Way of the Dragon. And he took me on the base to see that movie. And for some reason, it's a magical experience. So I saw the movie, and here's a couple weird things. And I've spoken about this to other people. I don't know if I've ever told you, but people have asked how I got started. And I went and saw the movie, and my first thought was, is he still alive? And this is before any fight. This is when he is outside the airport just arriving. And
Mhm.
for some reason, I had this weird feeling he wasn't, that this guy wasn't alive. And somewhere I had this weird feeling that this was going to be martial arts. And I knew a little bit. The only thing I knew about karate and stuff was from Kato. I didn't realize this was Kato yet,
Yeah.
Green Hawk, but that's about all I knew. And then in the movie, and after the first fight scene, I was hooked. I was
Mm.
hooked. And then he fights Chuck Norris at the end. I didn't know who Chuck Norris was yet. And I was hooked. And we walk out of that theater and I looked at Charles Durrell and I said, hey, Charles, is he still alive? And then Charles has to break the news to me. No, he's dead. He passed a few months ago. And I was just heartbroken. They're in
Mm.
Arizona right now. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. They just travel the country in
Wow,
their RV. Yeah, that's what they do.
that's awesome. Yeah. And
Yeah.
you met my childhood, and well, the
Yes,
one
I've
I
met.
call my first real karate instructor,
Right. Yeah.
Punchy David Ray. Yeah.
Yeah.
That man's done so much for me. I mean, they've been a lot of people in my career that's done a lot for me, but had it not been for him to get me straightened out as a kid and
Right.
help me understand exactly what martial arts is supposed to be about, how it is supposed to run, and what a real black belt looks like and acts like, and how he conducts himself. Yeah, I owe all that to Hunchy David Ray. You know what? Same thing that you say about him. Well, I wouldn't say the same thing, but the importance that he is to you is, and I thought about this while I'm listening to you tell this story, is probably the equivalent as to how Tom sees you,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
because Tom has stayed with you so long and, and his loyalty to with you and, just following you around really all over the world, not just all over the United
United
States, but
States.
all
Yeah.
over the world,
Yeah.
and training. And I think what's coming up in a couple of weeks is just, man, I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I really do. And I hope everything works out for him because, I mean, I know you're like me. When he goes through the Kyoto part of it, nothing's given.
No,
You got to earn it, and just because you show up doesn't mean you're going to get it.
you get it.
You've
Yeah.
got to you got to get it to
You got
get
to
it.
get it. Yeah. You got to get it to
And I
get it.
hope everything. Yeah, I hope everything works out for him and Augustine both. But
Yeah.
let's see.
Yeah. I never thought of it. Thank you for saying that. I never thought of that with Tom, but yeah, he has stayed so loyal for
Yeah,
so
yeah,
long.
yeah.
It's not a trait you see very much. And
Mhm.
you talk about blessing. This is where I've been blessed because take you for instance, and I hope not to embarrass you here. If it's okay, if you feel embarrassed, sorry, it'll still be on YouTube. But just for everybody to know, my Soki doesn't let me take care of almost anything. Uh,
Mhm.
and it's really amazing to let the world know that out there. And I almost, if I try, I get told no, and if I try harder, then I start feeling bad because he's telling me no, and pretty soon it's like, no,
Yeah,
I'm in
you get
charge. But
chastised.
then again, I look at, well, okay, well, I've saved money here, I saved this here, I saved time here, and
Mhm.
I try to find trinkets,
Right.
books or videos, ways to say thank you to you, and
Mhm.
some of them are rare, but I try my way to where you can't turn it down because now it's a gift from the
Right.
class or something, where
Right.
I've done those type of things. And there's some I've tried to give to you. You say, no, I'm not taking that. Like
Mhm.
my Masters Hall of Fame medallion. You no, not taking that. And
Yeah.
and I tried because I've been given so much, and then I'm like,
Mhm.
why, uh, I don't know what to do half the time about it, and it's really makes me feel in a way humbled,
Yeah.
good, little anxiety because I'm like, well, am I doing anything right here?
Yeah.
And so what I try to do is just pass that on, you
Yeah.
know. So like when I don't want to say the person's name because I don't want to embarrass him, but there was a martial artist whose car broke down,
Mhm.
loyal to me. I took care of that,
Right. Yeah.
and I go, well, Soki just took care of me, so I'm gonna take care of you. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That type of thing.
Yeah.
And because I just think, well, wait a minute, I've got to pass that on to somebody somehow.
Yeah.
And Tom's very much like that though. And Tom is so loyal, like for Augustine, because he knows Augustine's situation.
Mhm.
He's paying for his trip, basically,
Yeah.
everything, because he knows the situation. And I don't want to get into that. It's not Augustine, by the way.
Does Tom and Augustine, do they know each other very well? I
No,
mean,
that's the
I
thing.
know
A little,
obviously they've met.
they
As a
have,
matter of fact, both of them were up here for your promotion, but
right, both came from a
um,
promotion. Every time Tom came, which was about once to twice a year
mhm.
when I was teaching in Texas. When I wasn't teaching in Texas, it's more like once every 18 months.
Yeah.
But when I was teaching, he'd come up once or twice a year. When he was working more like once a year, when he retired, it was more like twice. And of course, when Gustin became my student, well, Gustin is there in those classes.
Hmm.
And so, he would see Augustine when he came up at least twice a week, sometimes twice a day, because Augustine would be like, well, can I come to that too? And it's always helpful to have another person in the room
Oh yeah,
to
yeah.
hold pads and a workout, give him Tom a break while he does pad
Hmm.
work or whatever. So he knows him from that. But any like, conversations, hanging out, no, he doesn't know him from any of that. Just
Oh,
training.
I got you.
But he knows Augustine wants to go into Keto Kimia and get a black belt there, not just
Hmm.
American kickboxing.
Yeah.
So he thinks, and this is Tom. He's got a generous heart. This is my opinion. He doesn't say it to me. This is just me interpreting Tom. Tom thinks, well, I could use somebody to help me out for the Keto Kimia because
Hmm.
Augustine's got a handle on it. He's trained in that as well. I just
Hmm.
want the audience to know that. But Tom he's trained in it with you a little bit, but his
Hmm.
back was a while ago. That was a minute. That was a minute.
Yeah.
So in his opinion, well, I need help. So let me get a black belt, even though it's not a black belt Keto Room, but someone who knows it better than I, who's trained under, can even
Hmm.
probably in longer, not longer in years, but longer in hours,
Yeah.
right? And let me bring him if he's willing. Well, Augustin's like, yeah, love to do it, love to help out.
I'm
And
amazed he got that much time off work.
I am too, yeah. And so they planned it. And so he got the time off of work. He has to be back on the 12th, I think. So he's flying back on the 11th. I'm going to take him there because you and Tom have already left. Uh, and he's going to be here. And then Augustine wants to go to visit. And, after he's done, visit a little bit with
Hmm.
us. And so he's staying until that Monday, the 11th. But Tom's and I mean, he'd probably be embarrassed. So I may have to edit this so I don't embarrass him as much. But like you, Tom's just got a generous heart. He's taking care of everything for
Got
him.
to get out of trying to invest.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
trying to invest in something. In
Yeah.
my opinion, you've got to invest. That's the only way it can be worthwhile.
Yeah.
If everything is given to you, and if you're all the time and you're not doing anything to get it, it's never going to mean anything to you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You've got to invest. You've got to invest time. You got to invest money. You got to invest energy. You've got to invest loyalty.
Right.
You've got to invest all this stuff into stuff in order to make it worthwhile.
Yeah. And that's Tom. Tom is like that. And so it's quite amazing, and he does that. And so I try to invest because I've been given so much by you, and
Mhm.
and I was given a lot by Dan. In my so I try to, since there's no way I can really repay you guys, I try to invest it in others. Too, while he is also trained in Goju, he's also is in BJJ.
Mhm.
So he trains under Cole Miller and BJJ, and he did that off of my advice. As I said, Tom, you can really use to improve your grappling skills.
What
Uh,
rank has he got up to in BJJ?
I think he's a blue or purple. I may be
Really?
wrong.
That's
Yeah,
pretty high in BJJ.
BJJ. I think he's a blue. I think
How
he's
long
a
has he been
blue,
doing that?
but maybe he's a purple. Uh, well, he started that when I
At
was in
least a couple
Texas.
of years.
He's been. I
Oh,
think,
really?
yeah, he's been doing it. I think he's been doing it 4 or 5 now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Except when except for like when an injury, he stops and then goes back. I
Yeah.
think I think he's had a surgery or two. Like any of us, you got to
Right.
stop. I think he's been doing it 4 or 5 years. And of course, the BJJ guys don't promote quickly on
No,
average. No,
no.
no. I got my own opinion on that, why, but in any case, they do not promote quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. That's another thing. You and I see pretty much
That's
eye to eye with each
Yeah,
other.
we're doing another topic on that one.
Yeah.
And that nothing against the skills of BJJ. I think they're
Right.
important ground skills to learn.
Right.
That's why I've done seminars. But if you're looking for to get to that level, there's a tiered system in my view, on
Yeah.
average. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a tiered system. Yeah, but that's a long time to be doing it. So
Yeah.
he's dedicated with his wife.
I
He's
hope he
dedicated with his
stays
family.
with it, honestly. I hope he stays with BJJ
I
and
do
gets
too.
a black belt.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah.
And I hope and I think Tom's thinking of this with his church. Tom is very devoted to his church, of maybe start teaching. And I'd love for him, even though he's been Goju, that he gets comfortable enough where he can teach Kido Kimeru.
Oh yeah.
I think that would be being more of an American freestyle karate rooted in Japanese
Yeah.
tradition.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, because I want to always be that martial artist who is learning.
Oh yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
I never want to stop learning, man. And and I've had people ask me that. They're like, "So when do you plan on giving it up?" And I'm like, "Are you crazy? I've got too much time, too much energy, too much blood, sweat, tears, too much money. I got too much of too much,
right?
involved in the martial arts. I don't plan on giving it up. What your version might be of me giving it up is, maybe me stop fighting or stop training so much. My version of giving it up is when I just quit living so much by like a martial code, or when I stop going to the dojo, when I stop reading about it, when I stop, like watching movies or something like that. That's what giving it up to me means.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
giving it all up and just not having nothing to do with any of it. I don't plan on stopping that.
No, I don't plan on stopping
I
that.
hope I live to be 90 years old and maybe 100 and hobbling in on dojo on a walker, man, and just being like, yeah, get them, or
Yeah, yeah.
whatever.
Well, hey, Soki, our time is about up. Anyways, looking forward to seeing you here pretty soon. I know we'll have another few episodes before you actually get here. But I'm glad
Yep.
you had a great Easter. Please say hi to Shihan, Mary Beth, and to all your students in
You
Sparta.
as well.
And if you talk to the other black belts in our system, please tell them I said hi. So thanks again, Soki. And you two in YouTube land, remember to subscribe.
That's right.
All right.
Subscribe. East meets West martial arts.
That's right.
Actually, I think you could probably find it if you put a space in between that, right?
You should. Every time I've tried it different ways, we always come up
Yeah.
first one or two. Yeah.
Yeah. I know it has no spaces in it, but I think if you just go on YouTube or maybe even Google and put East meets West martial arts, you're gonna find us
You're gonna
somewhere.
find it right somewhere. Yeah,
Yeah,
you'll
if you
find
want to
us.
find us bad enough, we're there, right?
We're there. Yep, we're there. All
Yeah.
right. Thank you so much, Soki. God bless.
See y'all later. God bless.